Hi loves, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I am so glad you're here. So for some context, I am in my third trimester of pregnancy. I am currently 32 weeks. Whoop. There's my first baby in the back. So now that I'm in my third trimester, I'm in the final stretch, but I really wanted to make a first trimester and second trimester essentials video because I feel like I would have loved to have watched a video just to see like what are people using, what can they recommend, etc. And also I know that every pregnancy is so unique and so different, so some of my essentials may not apply to you, but hopefully you'll find it helpful and or get like some peace of mind from this video. So wherever you are in your pregnancy journey, first of all, congratulations. This is such a beautiful and exciting journey, at times really freaking hard, but know that you are stronger than you think and you got this, okay? You got this. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So to kick off my first trimester essentials, I am gonna start off with anti-nausea and morning sickness remedies because those two things like took me for a freaking ride in my first trimester. So first things first, we're starting off with these anti-nausea morning sickness wristbands. Basically what they are knitted elastic bands, and sewn into the middle, they basically have these plastic knobs, and what they do is like activate a pressure point, like an acupuncture pressure point, and I wore these the moment I got out of bed. So pretty much these were next to my nightstand, and every morning right when I got to bed, these are the first things that I put on. They were so helpful. So I basically had this on 24 hours a day, except for when I was like horizontal, meaning taking a nap or sleeping, and these help so much. I like this one. I found this one on Amazon. I tried 3 different ones, but this one was my favorite, and everything I'll link in the description box, but these were the most snug. And basically you just put it on over your wrist. After you slip these on, how you find your acupuncture pressure point is basically use these 2 fingers, and then wherever like your thumb would land, that's where it goes. So you keep it on all day, and then after you take it off at the end of the day, you'll kind of have like a little mark. But I swear by these, they were so helpful. So these morning sickness anti-nausea wristbands were everything. So one of the first things my OB-GYN told me when I found out I was pregnant was to start taking a prenatal vitamin. And I actually started taking prenatal vitamins when we were trying, so I took them a little bit early. And prior to that, I was already taking the Ritual Essential Multivitamin. So transitioning into taking the Ritual Essential Prenatal Multivitamin was like a no-brainer. So the reason I love Ritual so much just as a brand, and why I trust the brand, is because they're science-backed with a clinical study. They're made traceable from the ingredients and the sources, and the third-party tested, and their products are non-GMO verified. The Ritual Essential Prenatal Multivitamin is vegan friendly, and it's also made so that it fills in the nutrient gaps before and during pregnancy as well. The Ritual Prenatal Multivitamin has 12 key ingredients in high-quality bioavailable forms, including methylated folate and choline for neural tube development, omega-3 DHA, choline and folate for fetal brain development, iron, folate, and vitamin B12 for red blood cell formation, calcium helper nutrients D3, K2, magnesium for bone health. Also, what I love is the fact that these prenatals are so easy to take. They're just 2 capsules, and also they have a delayed release formula. So basically they're really gentle on your stomach, and it didn't give me an upset stomach or anything like that. And they also do not have an aftertaste, which I think is really important, especially in first trimester. If you're having any of those first trimester symptoms, when you're having like smell, food aversion, like me. So these are actually really helpful, and I really like that I have like a nice lemon scent and like a little flavor to them. Ritual also has no shady filters, colorants, or additives. I have my Ritual prenatals on a subscription, and I feel like that takes the brain work out of it because there's already so much that you're thinking about. So if you guys want to try this for yourself, use my code LNV20 for 20% off your first month. Next is hydration, and I love this water bottle. I got it from Amazon. I just have a natural tendency, I gravitate toward glass bottles, and I really like that this one has a silicone sleeve on it. I think it's quite cute, but also it's really good for grip. It also has like these cute little time reminders, which I honestly don't abide by because I drink so much water throughout the day. I think I probably drink, this is pretty massive, but I think I drink about like around 8 of these a day. I try to be mindful that I'm drinking enough water every hour. And of course, like staying hydrated is super important, but even more so during pregnancy, because I also learned this recently too at my ultrasound. You need to stay hydrated in order to have enough amniotic fluid, also to produce that extra new blood volume we have, to build new tissue, to carry nutrients, and it also helps with indigestion, because I know that some people get really constipated during pregnancy. So staying hydrated is really important. So in the vein of staying hydrated, obviously if you have morning sickness, you are throwing up and you are losing a lot of water. So on those days, I would take these LMNT electrolyte packets. So there's these little sachets, and they come in multiple, like actually really good flavors. During pregnancy, I've been craving like flavored drinks and like carbonated drinks. So this is really nice if I just want something refreshing as well, but also super hydrating. It has 1,000 milligrams of salt, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium in each serving. And these are super easy to take because they come in individual packets. I just pour it into my water bottle, just shake it up, and then just drink it. I really like this one because there's no sugar. There's a little bit of stevia leaf extract, but the sugar is still 0 grams of sugar. And the liquid IV, which I actually did try in the way beginning before I found out about LMNT, but it has 11 grams of sugar. So that just did not sit well with me. I'm like, this is way too much sugar in order for me to hydrate. So I'm so glad I found these LMNT packets. They're really tasty and they're really easy to take, and they will up your electrolyte intake. So basically, in order to combat the nausea in my first trimester, I had to eat every 2 to 3 hours, or I started to get a little bit lightheaded. And I really loved these Stasher snack bags. So these are reusable silicone bags, and they come in various colors and sizes, and they're perfect for snacks and snacking on the go. So during her first trimester, your girl was sleeping a lot. I think there was some days where I was sleeping like 12 hours a day and my body was so tired. I mean, granted, we're making a baby, so my body was like, she's out. So with that said, in between, like during the day, I would sprinkle in a lot of naps, and this came in really clutch. And this is my slip eye mask, and I love this one so much. This is a pure silk sleep eye mask. First of all, it is so soft and plush and cool to the touch. I love this brand. You can just wear it, obviously, just wrap it on your head. But why this one's also my favorite is like basically they have these little inserts right here where it's a little bit concave for your eyes. So I really like this one because I have eyelash extensions. So these kept my eyelashes from getting crushed. I just love these. And it just acts like blackout blinds. I just kept this in the case by my nightstand. And then pretty much in between uses, I just store it back in here. You may or may not have seen these before. These are preggie prop drops. The name is so funny. They basically help to curb your morning sickness, and it's good for anti-nausea. And it's basically made with essential oils and plant botanicals and some sort of magic, because they also taste really yummy. So this is like my second jar. I was like the purse lady. So I always had these in my bag, especially when I was out and about, or right before I was heading out of the house, I would just like pop one of these in my mouth. I'm like, I don't even know it's placebo, but it worked really well for me, and it helped to actually like ease my nausea. And the last little bit that I did for my anti-nausea, curbing my morning sickness, was saltine crackers. My friend Heidi also told me about this, but after just doing research, I found that that was totally a thing. But basically, like right when I would wake up in the morning, after I brushed my teeth, I would have to eat a few saltine crackers just to like ease out like the lightheaded and nausea. So if I was feeling a little lightheaded, I would eat some saltine crackers. The next are pregnancy apps, and I've dabbled with a couple, and the 3 that I landed on are the Bump, Pregnancy Plus, and Expectful. I know it's so fun, at least for me, to just like track the size of our growing baby in comparison to like various fruits. And it's wild to think that there was a point where she was the size of a freaking blueberry. Like that is so tiny, it's so cute. I like using the Bump for that. So this app, I really like the interface. It tracks your baby by the size of fruits, as mentioned, but it also has really great informative daily reads. So I check the Bump the first thing every morning. I also have a toggle where you can see like the 3D imaging and the size of your baby, what's developing, and also what the baby looks like in your body, like growing in your uterus. So I find these really cool. There's another one I use called Pregnancy Plus. I don't really like the interface of this one as much, but they have just like the most high level imaging of not your baby, but what a baby would look like at this stage of your baby, if that makes sense. And it also has audio, so like what it sounds like in your uterus, and like the baby just looks so lifelike. Another app that I absolutely love, and I would highly recommend, is the Expectful app. So the Expectful app is for moms to be, and I believe they also, it just carries on to after when you're in like postpartum, but it's more focused about mental well-being during your pregnancy journey. So they have like really great meditations, they have affirmations, they have reflection practices, mindful movement practices. You know, pregnancy is a journey to say the least, and it is such a beautiful and life-changing one, but also at times it's really hard. And along with all like the physical bodily changes we're going through, there's so many mental, emotional changes, highs and lows that we're going through. So luckily I found this app in my first trimester, and I found it really helpful because first trimester was really tough for me. I think with the physical symptoms, but also I had a miscarriage in the past in the first trimester. So I was just like, okay, I just need to get through this first trimester. I found this app super helpful. It's really good just to keep you staying positive and really involved and like really well immersed in your journey of pregnancy. So basically there is a daily meditation on the app that coincides with your week and day of pregnancy. And it's really nice because it's so specific to your journey and your timeline. But also besides that, they have other resources. They have like hypnobirthing courses. They have like, if you can't sleep, there's sleep meditations. There was a meditation you do before your 20-week anatomy scan if you're like really nervous. I also believe they have a meditation for when you go into labor. So yeah, I feel like this app is a gem. Like I really love this app. It's been so helpful to me. Just like mental maintenance and mental well-being in this whole process is very important. Next on my essentials list are books. So I know that everyone definitely consumes and learns differently, but I've always enjoyed reading, and I feel like I retain information the best when I read. So I have, I think, about 5 books here that I would recommend. This first one is The New Rules of Pregnancy that my OB-GYN actually recommended. This one is a really easy read. So I read this one pretty much right when I got pregnant, and I feel like it just gives you a really good bird's eye view, kind of overall insight for expectant mothers. The layout of the book is actually really quite well done too. It's like very precise. It has imagery. It's not too text heavy. This is another one that my OB-GYN recommended. This is the Mayo Clinic Guide to a Healthy Pregnancy. This one is actually really good. This one is definitely more text heavy and information and data and stats heavy. It's quite thick, as you can see as well. I really like it. I feel like it kind of makes you feel like you're back in school studying, but this has actually been quite informative in how the chapters work too. They move in months. This is another book called Expecting 411, and my girlfriend Courtney recommended me this one. I think this book is really good if you're overwhelmed by all the information on the internet. And what I mean by that is there's a plethora of information on the internet. And for example, if you're looking up like, can I eat XYZ when I'm pregnant? Some sources will say absolutely it's safe. Some sources will be like, no, you're gonna go into labor, or it can cause a miscarriage. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so sometimes I can see how that can get overwhelming. I always just make sure that wherever I'm fact checking, it is a credible source. Sometimes if you type it in on Google, the first thing that comes up may not be the right source. Like, I make sure to find credible sources. Basically, if you have any questions, can you do manicures, or what kind of medications can you take? They have an index in the back, find the correlating information. So if you're sick and tired of the internet and of all the misinformation, I think this is a good one if you have just a lot of very specific questions. My girlfriend Courtney let me borrow this book. As you can tell, I think it's cute because I think a lot of her girlfriends, they just all give each other this book when they're pregnant. And this is The Girlfriend's Guide to Pregnancy by Vicky Iveen. This book is actually really cute. So it has really good informative information, but the way that it's said to you is like a girlfriend is talking to you. So it is a really fun read. It's not intimidating, the way they present information. So this was like a very fun, casual read. I got through it very quickly too. And with any of these books, if it doesn't pertain to you, you can also just like kind of skip through some sections as well, which is what I do with all these books. And this is the one that I am reading right now, Bringing Up Bebe. Halfway through the book so far, and so far I really like it. It basically tells you the French philosophy of parenting, and it compares it to the American methods, which they're quite different. This one is a fun read. The author does a really fun job of engaging and delivering the information, but I also find it really useful. Even as I'm reading this book, I'm telling Kellen, I'm like, well, these are what the parents have done to make their kids more patient, and all these tips, but I really recommend this one. This is a fun read. It's a good read. It's informative as well. Another one of my essentials, I think it's more of like a fun, nice to have, is film cameras and Polaroids. So again, everyone's pregnancy journey is so different and so unique, but first trimester was really trying for me. I feel like I felt all the symptoms. I was pretty miserable, I was not feeling good. I was like nauseous all the time. So first trimester felt really long, but second trimester was amazing. Like, I love you second trimester. It's called honeymoon for a reason. My energy came back, my clarity came back. But with that said, I feel like second trimester like went by in the blink of an eye. And I think thus far, I do feel like my pregnancy journey, I feel like time is flying by, and capturing these moments has been so nice. So I actually don't have any photos from first trimester. I just wanted to make sure we're in the clear. So everything I started documenting is from second trimester on. But starting from second trimester, I started taking photos of my changing beautiful body and documenting it via film photos. So I basically dedicated one film camera to it, and I've been taking photos since 18 or 20, and now I'm at week 32. I don't do it every week, I do it every couple of weeks, but I'm really excited to get that film developed. And I also got a Polaroid camera so I can have instant physical copies. It's like so fun and amazing to see how our bodies are changing ever so rapidly, and like the bump is growing, and I think it's so beautiful. So I love it. I love just tracking all of it. So that's been a really fun, nice to have. I also want to get a Polaroid just in case I wanted to take photos like, you know, at the hospital, like after labor or something. So yeah. Speaking of keepsake, so my next one is pregnancy journal. I really love this idea. I started this in second trimester as well, just like right at the start of my second trimester. I saw Desi Perkins talk about it on TikTok. I don't keep like a physical one, but I keep a digital one in the Notes app on my iPhone. And this has been like one of my favorite things to do because we're experiencing so many different changes, like physical, mental, emotional, week by week, like feeling your baby kick for the first time, like seeing your first ultrasound. And I think it's so nice just to document all that by putting it into a pregnancy journal. And the way you format it is basically you write it as though you're talking to your baby. And then also in the pregnancy journal, you can also put in photos, videos, voice notes. So I put in ultrasound photos, I put in photos of like the bump, put in photos again of just like my changing body. It's so fun to look back on the photo. I remember when I first started my second trimester, I was like, my bump is so big. And I looked back at my photos and I was like, looks like you just ate a burrito. Whew. I feel like out of breath. Now continue on with first trimester essentials. The next one is good dental hygiene. And I feel like I heard this like from the beginning. I still have been going to my every 6-month routine dental checkup and clean. I just got my teeth cleaned during pregnancy because all of the hormonal changes, our chances of getting gingivitis goes up. So using like a really good toothbrush, really using a good toothpaste is important. So I use an electric toothbrush and I make sure to just brush my teeth twice a day, floss once a day. And if you are having morning sickness and nausea, so if you are throwing up, also getting like a really good mouthwash. So I switched over to this brand called Hello. I use their toothpaste and a mouthwash. Yeah, and that's my bit on dental hygiene. We all know we need to be wearing sunscreen every single day, even if you're indoors. So today, I've been indoors all day, but I still wear sunscreen because I'm standing here from my window. So there's still moments where you do get sun. And especially during pregnancy, wearing sunscreen is even that much more important. I mean, skin darkening is very real. Like my underarms and my nips have gotten really dark. I also have the Linea Negria line. So skin darkening and skin hyperpigmentation are definitely a thing. So wearing sunblock when we're pregnant is really important, but we also have to make sure we're wearing mineral sunscreen as opposed to wearing chemical sunscreen. The main difference is like in a mineral sunscreen, like a zinc oxide, it physically prevents the UV rays from penetrating our skin, whereas a mineral sunscreen like an oxybenzone or avobenzone, like the UV rays still penetrate our skin, so you just want to make sure you're wearing a really good mineral sunscreen. I really like this biossance squalane and zinc sheer mineral sunscreen. I've been using this one, and this one is EWG verified, non-toxic and paraben free, and this one also wears really beautifully without feeling greasy or heavy on the skin. And we all know the 2-finger rule. This is how much sunscreen you should be wearing. I know it looks ridiculous and my face is super white, but just continue to blend it all in. And of course, make sure to work it down all the way to your neck. And we're gonna blend, 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 and just leaves a really, really nice dewy finish. It's really lightweight and hydrating because of the squalane, and it doesn't leave a white cast after all the blending. And the last one on my list for first trimester essentials is basically just loose clothing. In first trimester, my bump wasn't big enough for me to wear maternity clothing, but also I still hadn't announced my pregnancy publicly, so I was still in the mode of hiding my pregnancy. So it was a combination of like, I was in stealth mode, but also I wanted to be really, really comfortable because you are growing. So basically like all my other clothes, which I really realized I used to live in crop tops and high-waisted pants. I had like no long shirts. I definitely had to buy some, but I basically just lived in a lot of dresses, a lot of like stretchy knits, and a lot of like loose clothing, oversized clothing. And with that wraps up my first trimester pregnancy essentials. I hope you guys found this video helpful in some way. Some takeaway, some new product finds, some peace of mind, anything. But thank you so much for watching, and if you are on your pregnancy journey, I wish you nothing but the best. Stay strong, stay positive, because it really is such a beautiful journey and like such a blessing. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.